Good Yom Tov, everybody. And when I grew up in Israel, they would say, Gemar Chatima Tova. May it be sealed in the good book of life, and we will study all about it. The rabbi will cover it. For those of you who don't know me, I am David Youngman. I am the congregational president, and I welcome everybody to our Kol Nidrei worship service. I also would like to welcome our streaming audience around the world. We have special guests with us today. It's Mr. and Mrs. Stuart Goldfarb. It's an honor to have you here. If you don't know, that's the rabbi's parents and Ariel's grandparents. While I'm making the announcement, this will be a good time to turn off or silence your cell phones and electronic devices. The beautiful floral arrangements adoring our bima have been donated by Don and Joyce Kessler and Laura Cutler Cathane. I want to welcome the cellists sponsored by Sandra Pascas. The evening we are honoring the Temple Board of Directors. Some are on the bima and some with their families sitting with the congregation. I would like to ask for them to stand at this time. The board members, please stand. This is the leadership of our congregation. Vice President of Religion is Dina Jastrock. Raise your hand, Gina. Second Vice President membership is Florence Bornstein. Third Vice President of Education and Youth is Jody Green and Dana Porter, and they're the ones who are greeting right now. Recording Secretary is Brad Kramer. Treasurer is Donna Berglis-Hess. Financial Secretary is Scott Zvern. Ways and Means is Leslie Berger. House is Sherry Held. Intercommunity Relation is Chris Jastrock and Sharon Kravitz. Adult Education is Victoria Jacobs and Joyce Kessler. Communications and Publicity is Susan Carey. Are you here, Susan? Yeah. Long Range Planning is Doug Cutkin. Sisterhood President is Cher Kritchmar. Brotherhood President is David Sane. Sisterhood President is, I already mentioned that. Immediate Past President is Steve Wiesel. I am very thankful for your work ethic, the meeting you attend, and the time you spend away from your home and families. Thank you. Toda rabah. A huge thank you to our Religious Committee Chair, Dana Jastrock, House Chair Sherry Held, and Membership Chair Florence Bornstein, on their committee for all the hard work and attention in detail for preparing for our high holiday services. I would like to thank the board members and volunteers who are our greeters, ticket guest registration, and high holiday book stations tonight. Once again, thank you to Chris Jastrock and his ushering crew. Our office manager, Deneen Dyson, has been an incredible team player, making sure everything in the office is completed on time for the high holidays and for participating in our high holiday choir, and a big happy birthday. Our Rosh Hashanah, the high holiday choir, created a very spiritual feeling. We appreciate all the rehearsals that you attended for the high holiday services. Our high holiday choir is under the direction of Dr. Ray Irwin. A huge thank you to our shofar blowers, Toby Porter, Ellie Ursus, and Matthew Ham. And we will have a special shofar tomorrow, shofar blower tomorrow. We'll keep that a secret till you hear it. A big thank you to Phil Carey and crew for streaming tonight's service, so those who cannot be with us in person can enjoy our service from their homes. And my wife is sick, so she's watching right now. Hi, Karen. Cantor Ariel Goldfarb, you beautifully chanted the high holiday melodies on Rosh Hashanah, uplifting the congregation. We appreciate all your hard work and contribution to our high holiday services. Rabbi Goldfarb, we all are grateful for all the things you do, not just at high holidays, but all year long. You're never willing to settle for the status quo. We all thank you for the many things you do for the benefit of Temple Beth Or. Tomorrow morning services begin with children and family worship at 9 a.m. Morning worship service begins at 10 a.m. Study session will follow at 1 p.m., maybe 1:15, 1:30, but we will make it. Afternoon service begins at 2:30 p.m. And Yizkor Nila worship service begins at 4:30 p.m. Please do not forget the food drive. Bring non-perishable food items. For those who parked in the church across the street, please use the crosswalks when crossing the street. Some great events coming up. Friday, October 6th, which is next Friday, we're having a special traditional Shabbat and Sukkot dinner. Please RSVP by October 4th. Wednesday, October 11th, Brotherhood and Sisterhood are having a social under the Sukkah. Friday, October 13th at 7:30 p.m., we're having our Simchat Torah service, and that's really exciting. This is where we unroll the whole Torah scroll and parade it around the temple. I love that the rabbi does this for us. And Wednesday, October 18th, we're having the Brotherhood is having a special Oktoberfest complete with schnitzel and beer. So men, please come. We'll have a great time. And one more thing, for those of you who have pets, on Sunday, October 15th at 11:30 a.m., we are having the annual pet blessings. So please bring your pets and they will be blessed. I am so proud and honored of leading this great Jewish community. We have a wonderful congregation that was built and dedicated to this community by previous and current generation. We will continue to support this Jewish community to assure that we have up-to-date facilities and staff, financial support by our temple dues and donations. You will see upcoming projects to support this goal, such as our social hall remodel project. Our rabbis teach us that tzedakah is part of repentance. Our high holiday appeal, as of this evening, is at about 28,000, so we're still a little short. So please make it so we don't have to have a big, long speech tomorrow. We are very close to meeting it, and thank you all for your donations. My fellow congregants, this is our Jewish experience. With your help, we can make it the best. Temple, Beth, Or is the path to make the world a better place. Karen and I wish you a very happy, healthy 5,778 and an easy fast.
David, thank you very much for all of that introduction and for the information. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And of course, Good Yantiv. We gather on Shabbat and Yom Kippur. A little hint, so that in our Machzorim tonight, it is also Shabbat, so those inserted texts, I think in blue, in our new prayer book, we'll be sure to want to include those readings as we share our worship service together. Just a few other words by announcements. There's a whole lot of material in your Shabbat program, in the Shabbat and High Holiday programs that you received. There's information in there about upcoming adult educational events, great opportunities there. There's a whole calendar. Of course, people who are participating in the worship service this evening. And during our Slichot service, we showed the movie Raising the Roof, about the reconstruction of a Polish synagogue, wooden synagogue roof out of authentic materials using authentic tools from the 18th century. A whole project that went on, and that roof now displays in the Jewish Museum in Warsaw. And there were a number of folks who wanted to see about the possibility of maybe a congregational tour, sort of a Poland or bust kind of thing. And so you have some information in there about some possible dates in 2018. If you're interested, please let me know. Call the office, send me an email. We'll get more information to you as we see if we can get a congregational trip together. It could also include an extension to Israel as well, so a little Poland-Israel thingy. So think about it and let me know. I believe that's it. There's a whole lot of information, so you can take it home and you can peruse it at your leisure. Shabbat gives us the opportunity to pause, to reflect from our doings. Shabbat truly is that pause button, giving us a moment to just collect ourselves. And on this Shabbat, with the combination with Yom Kippur, we have the opportunity for really taking a look at our lives, at who we are and who we are becoming. And with this time set aside, with liturgy, with music, we have the opportunity to examine ourselves a little more closely. Cheshbon HaNefesh is what this is. This is an accounting of our soul. This is an accounting of our being. Where are the areas that we have succeeded? What are the areas that we need to do a little more work on? What are the areas that we haven't even yet begun to explore in ourselves? These are the questions that come to us on this Sabbath of the soul, this Shabbat and Yom Kippur. And it gives us a great opportunity to embrace this opportunity for change. This is truly the saving grace for human beings. We do have the ability to change and to grow if we want to and if we apply ourselves. May we find strength and courage on that journey so that we might become more than what we are in this year ahead. And let us all say, Amen. I invite us to rise as we are able. So we open the ark doors for a brief prayer. We may be seated. We continue our service, or actually begin our service, as we turn to page 7 in our Machzorim, as we prepare for the lighting of our Shabbat and Yom Tov candles. I would like to invite Deborah Goldfarb and Stuart and Marilyn Goldfarb and Micah Goldfarb to join the cantor and I on the bima.
Yom Kippur is a scandalous day for those of us who live in this modern world. It conjures up the prospects of death, still a great taboo in our society, and enjoins health and vigorous people to step off the treadmill for a moment and listen to the fragile beating of their own hearts. Many of us, regardless of denomination or stated belief, find a challenge and a scandal of Yom Kippur too difficult to bear. As a consequence, inventive techniques are developed that help keep its subversive message at bay.
We busy ourselves with the business of fasting or revel in the rebellion of eating as normal. We obsess on the seating arrangements or the heating arrangements. Some have other, more subtle methods. They allow the nostalgia of tunes and prayers to mask the uncomfortable implications of the day. When it comes to the Day of Atonement, there are no experts and no masters. Each person is exposed as mortal. Those of us who like to think of themselves as significant may be particularly offended by that very thought.
My own personal version of preparation for Yom Kippur always begins with a sense of how absurd and limited I am and how grand I pretend to be. I try to bring to mind the inadequacies and the errors, the times when I was angry instead of smart, and when I was clever instead of genuine. Whoever is too self-impressed to come to terms with these truths might just as well skip straight forward to Sukkot. Yom Kippur will pass them by. However macabre it sounds, Yom Kippur is meant to be a near-death experience. Confronted with the scandal of my own inevitable demise, this year or next, or in 70 years' times, I need to acknowledge my weakness and vulnerabilities.
Our service continues on page 9.
We read responsively, "The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us.
Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night we search for truth.
Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love.
Light the flame of healing and forgiveness on this atonement night. We give thanks for love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat shel Yom HaKippurim. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat and on Yom Kippur.
Elohim
The past year has been a challenging year. There have been health challenges we have faced. There have been employment challenges that we have faced. There have been economic upturns and downturns that we have had to come face to face with. There have been moves. There have been family member changes, changes in statuses of our family members, all of those things that happen to us on the road of life. And yet here we are. From last Yom Kippur to this Yom Kippur, we gather here, grateful to God for being able to be together here this evening. We share the words of our Shehechianu, our prayer of gratitude, praising God who has given us life, who has sustained us, and who has enabled us to reach this day. Our service continues on page 14. As I invite the presidents of our auxiliaries, David Sain, president of Brotherhood, Cher Kritchmar, president of Sisterhood, to join us on the bima together with David Youngman, our congregational president. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidrei, its sacred portal, a night of deep emotions. A night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling. We continue responsively. Together, we rejoice.
With the sound of Kol Nidrei, rhythmic words released from vows, oaths, and promises to God we fail to keep.
We tremble at the melody, music of spiritual amazement. It fills us with awe as we stand before God in Torah.
We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility.
We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfection, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding.
We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deep and think so nobly.
We tremble, for we find that our ideals are often far greater than our ability. Our promises often surpass our might.
We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidrei's true gift, the freedom to begin the new year without fear of failure, to aspire to be God's image in the world.
We tremble because we are mortal. We rejoice in our gratitude for life.
We rejoice in trembling and enter Kol Nidrei to face our humanity.
Kol Nidrei, a chant that begins in a whisper and rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this day of atonement to the next, may we reach it in peace. All Israel makes these vows to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk in the path of justice and right. Yet we know our weakness, how prone we are to fail. Help us, O God, to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and with integrity. We seek pardon and forgiveness. We seek your radiance and your light. Our service continues on page 19. Give us the strength to keep our promises, the sacred vows of partners in marriage, the promises of love and care between parents and children, the promises of duty between citizens and country, the oaths of doctors, the sacred trust of teachers. Give us the strength to keep our promises to our friends, to our colleagues, to those who live with us and those who depend upon us, to those who work for us and those for whom we work, to those who pray with us and those for whom we pray, to those we love and those we serve. Give us the courage to keep our promises to ourselves, to one another, and to all future generations. I invite us to rise as we are able. We may be seated. Service continues on page 21. My neighbor's roses are blooming, blooming. Their perfume spills past me into the street. The world gives us so much without being asked. But again and again, we break our promises to it. We breathe, eat, sleep away the glittering nights, spend the tapestried days. These broken promises, let them be forgotten. Our sworn oaths unswear. They drop noiseless on the earth, and they become the earth. Continue on page 22 with the words of our Baruch Hu. As we bless the source of life, so may we be blessed, as I invite us to rise as we are able. We continue on page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hachokavim, b'mishbarotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mitmei choshek, v'choshek mitmei or, ama'avil yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzavaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Please continue on page 27. We pause in reverence before the gift of self. The vessel shatters, the divine spark shines through, and our solitary self becomes a link in Israel's golden chain. For what are we? We are by sharing, and as we share, we move toward the light. We pause in reverence before the mystery of a presence, the near and far reality of God. Not union, but communion is our aim, and we approach the mystery with deeds. Words lead us to the edge of action, but it is deeds that bring us closer to the God of light. We pause in terror before the human deed, the cloud of annihilation, the concentrations for death, the cruelly casual way of each to each. But in the stillness of this hour, we find our way from darkness into light. We find our life so precious that we cannot but share it with others. that light may shine brighter than 1,000 suns, with the presence among us of the God of light.
We may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Jewish tradition teaches us that as our ancestors gathered at the Sea of Reeds, with water in front of them and the Egyptians behind them, the sea did not part immediately. As a matter of fact, Moses was busy uttering a very long prayer to God to do something. And while Moses was uttering that prayer, Nachshon ben Aminadav, Nachshon, started into the waters. And it was only when the waters reached Nachshon's nostrils, it was only then that Nachshon found the way out of those waters, and the sea was parted, and the Israelites crossed through. On Yom Kippur, each one of us are that very Nachshon. We are called upon to step into the turbulent waters of our past. We are called upon to dive deeply into our actions, our promises of the past year, so that we might emerge slightly wholer and, more importantly, having wrestled with those unresolved issues, a more complete person. The Israelites crossed through these waters on their way to the promised land. We too must gather by the water's edge, the turbulent waters of our past. We too must immerse ourselves in those waters if we are to find our way to our promised land, the people we are yet to be. We continue on page 40. service continues on page 42 as we read together. Bless our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us to life when we rise. With power sublime, spread over us your shelter of shalom, and through your wisdom restore us, make us whole. Let your name proclaim your presence in our lives. Be our shield. Make us stronger than the enemies we face, illness, war, famine, and sorrow, and stronger than the enemies in our hearts, wickedness and sin. Carry us to safety as on wings, for you are the monarch of grace, the sovereign of compassion. You are the one who cares for us and sets us free. Watch over us, we go forth to life. Watch over us, that we may come home in peace, now until the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Blessed One, you spread over us a canopy of peace, a shelter of shalom over all Israel, your people, and over Jerusalem. For on this day atonement shall be made for you, to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah באיכון וביום איכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שני עולם מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירם ביומה ואמרו אמן.
Our service continues on page 46 as we continue with the words of our tefillah. I invite us to rise as we are able.
Adonai Svatai Tivta Adonai Svatai Tivta Ufiagi Tehilatecha Ufiagi Tehilatecha Adonai Svatai Tivta Adonai Svatai Tivta Ufiagi Tehilatecha Ufiagi Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Lama'an Shemo B'Yahava Elohim Magen Avraham ve'ezerat Sarah.
We continue on page 50. Your life-giving power is forever, Adonai, with us in life and in death. You liberate and save, cause dew to descend, and with mercy abundant, lovingly nurture all life. From life to death, you are the force that flows without end. You support the falling, heal the sick, free the imprisoned and confined. You are faithful even to those who rest in the dust. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs, sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Merciful God, who compares with you, with tender compassion you remember all creatures for life. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol, wellspring of blessing, power eternal. You are the one who gives and renews all life. We read together on the top of page 53. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day. Selah. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha selah. We may be seated. Our service continues on page 60.
You choose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made us known your aspirations. Among all the peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, You have lifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. We continue on page 62. In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this Shabbat for holiness and rest, and this Yom Kippur, a day on which our wrongs are forgiven with love, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, in the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this Day of Atonement. We continue on page 64. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us the depth of your care. God, we wait your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion.
Our service continues on page 66.
Our God and God of our forebears, pardon our failings on this day of Shabbat and this day of atonement. Erase our misdeeds, see beyond our defiance. For Isaiah said, in your name, it is I alone, who wipe away your defiant acts. This is my essence. I shall pay no heed to your errors. And the prophet said, as a cloud fades away, as mist dissolves into air, as your wrongs and mistakes shall be gone, I will wipe them away. Come back to me, that I may redeem you. As you said to Moses, for on this day atonement shall be made for you, to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai. We continue on the next page, please. God who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, may our rest on this Shabbat bring you pleasure. Lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Let your holy Shabbat be our heritage, embraced freely and with love, and may all your people bring holiness to your name by resting on this day. We continue on page 70. Help us to serve you in truth with purity of heart, for you are the forgiver of all Israel, in every generation, granting pardon to the tribes of Yeshrem. We have no God of forgiveness and pardon but you alone. You are blessed, Adonai, sovereign, who forgives our failings and pardons the failings of your people, the house of Israel. You banish our guilt from year to year. You reign in majesty over all the earth. You sanctify Shabbat, the people Israel, and the Day of Atonement.
We continue on page 72.
Israel.
service continues on page 74.
God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful forever. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise, your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time. Please continue on page 76. And for all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised. Our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. Inscribe your covenant partners for a life of goodness, and may all life resound with gratitude and faith. In praise of your name, God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shemka ucha nech lechadot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. Please continue on page 78. Peace, profound and lasting, all-embracing. Peace, let this be your gift to Israel, your people. In your goodness, author of peace, bless us and all people, every season, every hour, with the peace that is yours to give. Let us and the whole family of Israel be remembered and inscribed in the book of life. May it be a life of goodness, blessing, and prosperity. May it be a life of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh HaShalom. You are the blessed one, the eternal one, source of shalom.
as we pray for peace for a very troubled world and the individuals that make up this world, so too do we want to include those whose shalom, whose wholeness, whose peace has been disturbed, perhaps even shattered by the challenges that they are facing, challenges to their health, their bodies, their minds, their well-being. In a moment, our cantor and choir will lead us in the prayer of the Misha Berach, our prayers for healing. And I will invite you in a moment before that to share aloud the name of a loved one that you would like to bring in to hear this space, this time, and into our hearts for these prayers. May all who are facing such challenges to their health and their well-being, may they be blessed on their journey, a journey that will bring them to a refuah shlema, to a return to wholeness, their circle of family and their circle of friends. I invite you to share aloud the name of a loved one. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat asks us to pause from our labors, to stop our doings so that we might become human beings. Yom Kippur asks us to look at our doings and the words that we have said during this past year, and to pause and reflect on what we did and on what we said. And even in our prayers, we pause from the reading, from the singing, and from the speaking, so that we too might be with our thoughts, to bring us into this time of quietude and reflection. I share this thought, this meditation. The hardest part of living is the people that we encounter during our journey. So, Avinu Malkeinu, I pray, help me. Help me to face those I meet without resentment or disappointment. Help me to see the pain behind their actions instead of attributing it to malice. Help me to understand their suffering rather than my anger. And in myself, as I struggle with my biggest enemy, me, give me the strength. Give me the strength to quiet my racing heart. Strength to quicken my empathy, to act in gratitude and not out of need. Remind me, O God, that each and every time I close my heart to another, I add to the darkness that is engulfing the world and consuming the people that I love. Help me, O God. Help me to always lead with kindness. And so we pause. Our service continues on page 83. As I invite us to rise as we are able for our vidui for this evening. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu, v'al tit'alam metichnatenu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin, yet in truth, we have stumbled and we have strayed and we have done wrong. Of these wrongs, we are guilty. We read together. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander, we devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, we disobey. We abuse, we defy, we corrupt. We commit crimes, we are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill, we spoil, we go astray, we lead others astray.
Ay, 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 Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Baganu,
Baganu,
Gazanu,
Gazanu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Dibarnu Dofi,
ay, 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 Hevinu,
Hevinu,
Vehishanu,
Vehishanu,
Sadnu,
Sadnu,
Chamasnu,
Hamasnu,
Tafanu Shaker,
Tafanu Shaker,
ay, 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 Yatnura,
Ya'atnura,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Latnu,
Latnu,
Maradnu,
Maradnu,
Niyatnu,
Niyatnu,
Sararnu,
Saranu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Ashanu,
Tsararnu,
Saranu,
Kishinu Oref,
Kishinu Oref,
ay, 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 Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatnu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Tainu,
Tainu,
Titanu.
Titanu. We may be seated. As our service continues on page 86. as we read responsively in Hebrew, followed by the English. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bezadon uvishgaga ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'dibur peh.
The way we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world with the words of our mouth.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha be'imutz halev ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'tipusht peh.
The ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused in your world through careless speech.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chachas uvizachav ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'rechilut.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm they have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'flilut ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'zilzul horim or morim.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused you in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'vidui peh ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'hona'at re'ah.
The way we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chozek yad ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'masa uvematan.
The ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
V'al kulam Eloha slichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha begalui uvasater ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha bifrikat oil.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by losing self-control.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha begilui arayot ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'machal uvimeshteh.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha beyetzer hara ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'neshach uvmarbit.
The ways we have wronged you by giving into our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through greed and exploitation.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha belatzon ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha bintiyat garon.
The ways we have wronged you through cynicism and scorn, and harm we have caused in your world through arrogant behavior.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'sinat chinam ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'tumat shaftayim.
The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'lashon hara ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'tzarut ayin.
The ways we have wronged you with slanderous tongue, and harm we have caused in your world through a selfish or petty spirit.
Ve'al kulam Eloha slichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Lanu, mechal lanu,
Our service continues on page 98. 98. Hear our call, Adonai, our God. Show us compassion. Accept our prayer with love and goodwill. Take us back, Adonai. Let us come back to you. Renew our days as in the past. Hear our words, Adonai. Understand our unspoken thoughts. May the speech of our mouth and our heart's quiet prayer be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer. We read together. Do not cast us away from your presence or cut us off from your Holy Spirit. Do not cast us away when we are old. As our strength diminishes, do not forsake us.
Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, our God. With hope, Adonai, we await you.
Surely you, Adonai,
our God, will answer.
Our service continues on page 113. When the CCAR came out with this great machzor, they wanted to make sure they included all kinds of readings for all kinds of occasions, and giving us the opportunity to pick and choose as we go through. Page 113. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Some of us have cancer. Some of us have lost strength of body. Some have lost memory and speech. Some of us are in pain. Some of us can't find work. Some of us bear the marks of human cruelty inside where the scars don't show. Some live with depression. Some battle addiction. Many feel alone. Some have known shattered marriages, trust betrayed, hopes destroyed. Some of us have lost the ones we love far too soon. Some have lost a child. All of us have seen suffering in our midst. All of us know the ravages of war, for which there are no words. Avinu Malkeinu, why? Avinu Malkeinu, are you there? Do you care? Avinu Malkeinu, hear our pain. Hear our anger. Hear our grief. Avinu Malkeinu, this is our prayer. Give us the strength to go on. Give us reasons to get up each day. Give us purpose and persistence. Help us to fend off fear and to hold on to hope. Help us to be kind. Don't make us bow or grovel for your favor. Give us dignity and give us courage. Avinu Malkeinu, show us the way to a year of goodness. Renew our belief that the world can be better. Avinu Malkeinu, restore our faith in life. Restore our faith in you. We continue on page 114. We walk as we rise, as we are able. continue on page 115 as we read responsively. Avinu Malkeinu na al chivenu rekam milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn away from your will.
Avinu Malkeinu kabel barachamim uvratzon et tefilatinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayers with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu aseh imanu lema'an shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for our sake, demonstrates your name.
Avinu Malkeinu aseh lema'ancha imlo lema'anenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu ein lanu melech ele ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu patach sha'arei shamayim litfilatinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu shema kolenu hus verachem alenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu chonenu va'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace where our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, konenu vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, konenu vanenu, ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, le'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, konenu vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, konenu vanenu, ki ein banu masim.
We may be seated. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Yontov. Here's to an easy fast. Hope you got full tonight. I know I did. It's kind of hard to stay awake, though. You know, we Jews, we just do things a little awkwardly as we have this huge big meal and then come and sit through a service. What a wonderful choir with our music this evening and our cellist, Dr. Ray Irwin. Thank you very much. Cantor Ariel, our wonderful choir voices, and our new cellist for this evening. It is a pleasure to welcome you to Temple Bethor. Thank you for being with us. Before wanting to become a rabbi, although I didn't know really I wanted to be a rabbi even then, Deborah and I were fortunate enough to work in a fine dining restaurant in Columbus, Ohio. It had recently remodeled. It used to be known as the Old Church House and was built in actually an old Methodist church. They had remodeled and they renamed themselves the Refectory. Still to this very day, receiving many accolades in the wine magazines and in the gourmet trade industry. Still to this day in existence and still doing wonderful. The then general manager is now the present owner of this restaurant, the Refectory. And what a great place for two Jewish people to work, right? The Refectory, the bishop's dining room, a nice church, Methodist church. In the early days, after they had done this remodeled and reopening, business was many times a little slow in the evenings. And on one particular weekday evening, Kamal Boulos, the then general manager, came to me. I was the host and dining room supervisor, later on the maitre d'. Came to me and told me, I'm sending the kitchen staff home. We only have a couple of tables. If anybody comes in, give me a buzz. We had a phone intercom system. I'll be up in the dining room. It was down the hall and up the stairs. Give me a call, and I'll tell you what to do. Okay, as he's walking away. And by the way, have you ever cooked before? I was a Boy Scout. Yes, I burnt hot dogs over fire. I cooked on the family grill many times, and I was a 20-year-old college student. You know, for me, cooking was boiling water and pouring it on the mac and cheese. That was the extent of my cooking. No sooner had I turned around, a party of two. Oh, sure, one moment. Okay, party of two. Okay, right this way. I showed them to the table. I got down. Oh, a party of four. One moment, please. Cam, a party of four? Okay, sure. Right this way, please. As I got back down, a party of two and a party of six. Oh, one moment, please. Cam, there's a party of two and a party of six? Sure. Okay. Excuse me one moment as I ducked into the lounge to tell one of the cocktail waitresses, Deborah, as a matter of fact, lock the front door. Yes, we both worked in the restaurant. Lock the front door and put a sign on says closed for private party. And then I showed the party of two and the party of six up and looked at Cam, who said, meet me in the kitchen. The kitchen was empty. I mean, there was pots and pans and all kinds of things, but there were no people in the kitchen. He looks at me, you go behind the line and I'm going to tell you what to do and we're going to cook all these meals. Okay, sure, yeah, why not? And so there we are. Now, the sauces were already made at this stage, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. The two of us put out all of the meals for every one of them, and if I might say, obviously the restaurant did not close. We did an awesome job. We're back there. I'm back behind the line. I've got steaks going. We've got things in pans, and he's on the other side of the line. Okay, so I'm ready for this. Put a little red sauce on it. Great. Okay, go get salads, and boom, the two of us. Afterwards, after getting all the meals done, of course, there's no dishwasher either. Cam brought out a nice bottle of wine. The two of us had a lovely bottle of wine as we scrubbed and cleaned up. And I got the bug for cooking, and I loved cooking. I had such a blast. It was so much fun. So when applying to rabbinic school, you have to have a plan B. My plan B was chef school. Fortunately, plan A worked. Because as much as I like cooking, I love being a rabbi even more. But sometimes we do not know what we are able to do until we are faced with that moment when we are called upon to do it. I hadn't really cooked. I had not cooked filet mignon. I had not cooked nearly the things, hamburgers, yeah, hot dogs, sure, steaks, yeah, maybe, on the grill, but, it was a beautiful evening. And I found such tremendous confidence in following Cam, and the two of us were able to put out really a fine dining experience for these people who had no idea that there was an unknown chef with no experience and a restaurant manager with much experience directing how to cook all of these items. We don't know what we can do sometimes until we are forced to face it. Athletes know this. That's why coaches are there to push them on. People who engage personal trainers to help them with their health and their exercising, likewise, are ready to quit, and their trainer is saying, no, keep pushing, do more. And so we do. We don't always trust ourselves when faced with stressful situations, whether it's exercise or a life situation. And so we oftentimes want to back away, and a coach is there sometimes to help push us into the mess, into the situation, to push us even harder. This is what Yom Kippur is about. For our ancestors, this day was the end of the line. This was the last day of our lives. If there was going to be anything in the future, it was going to be because God wrote us in the book of life tomorrow evening. If we woke up the day after Yom Kippur, it was because we did a good job on Yom Kippur. This was how our ancestors faced this awesome day. This day, we are facing death. And if there's going to be a tomorrow, it's up to me to make that happen. This is the weight of this day. But we know that that's not enough. Because surely we would have prayed ourselves into the world of our dreams if prayer was all it took. If all it took was some recitation of some liturgy, then surely our ancestors who were dragged off to Babylonia, who sat by the rivers of Babylon and wept and wrote psalms, surely they would have had enough of the kavanah, the intention, and the honesty in their prayers to have made it happen. And if not them, then maybe our ancestors who faced Roman destruction and Roman dispersion and enslavement. They, as the walls of Jerusalem were beginning to fall, surely they were praying with all of their hearts. And if not them, maybe our ancestors facing the Crusaders. And if not them, maybe our brothers and sisters facing the Nazis. Surely if prayer was it, then we have had enough of those confrontations with the most stressful situations of life that prayer would have worked, and we would have become a better people, and the world would be a better place. The world is not a better place. Don't know if it's any worse, but it's certainly not any better. And as a people, we too have had our ups and our downs. As we gather here year after year, saying Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, year after year after year. And then we wake up the day after Yom Kippur and go back to the way things were. Yom Kippur is no longer the end of the line, and so we no longer face this day with the idea that I have to make some serious changes, like a harsh medical decree from the doctor. If you do not do this, bad things are going to happen. Yom Kippur is not that same weight anymore. And we do not feel the pressure of the day to really look at ourselves intensely, and maybe we don't exactly have the perspective. I mean, how am I supposed to look at myself and see my faults? Some of them I see readily, a lot of them I don't. It takes a very wise person to be able to look at themselves in the mirror or in whatever they look into, and to say, yes, I definitely have to work on that. We need tools to make that happen. That is what our liturgy is for. Our liturgy is to give us those tools, but I think we need more. I think we need more tools, because as I look at my life, I understand that, okay, yes, I've made some growth here, I've not grown there, yes, sometimes I make the same mistakes again and again, all right, I need something else. I don't have Cam telling me how to cook this steak. I don't have Cam to tell me the sauces to put on it. I don't have a coach over my shoulder telling me to, yes, go ahead, pedal faster, crank down the brake even more, do some more push-ups. I don't have that when it comes to how am I doing and how am I becoming the better person. And so I'm going to try something this year. We're going to dabble in a little bit of the Musar literature, ethical literature created by wise Jewish people to look at different aspects and different values of what we want to bring into the world and to find ways to go about doing that. A toolbox for me to go to try to find ways to be that better person I want to be. On Thursday, this Thursday, October the 5th, we're going to have a little introduction session to this Musar literature, a little opportunity to do some study, and a little bit of reflection for those who are interested in really wanting to delve a little bit deeper and make not only Yom Kippur, but make of this year a better opportunity for growth and for change. So much of our life has now become very, very stable that with the exception of those medical scares, we don't spend time looking at the people we are becoming, at the choices we are making, and the tools that we need to have in order to make those better choices. Our liturgy is one such tool on Yom Kippur. I hope you'll join me as we dabble into some of the Musar literature and looking specifically at the values that this world needs so much more of, and we human beings need so much more of. Patience, gratitude, even for sometimes the messes we are facing. How do you find gratitude in the midst of a terrible tragedy? I'm not sure if Musar is necessarily going to have all the answers for us, but we're going to spend some time looking at ways in which we might avail ourselves of this tradition from Eastern European Jewry and find ways to bring it into our lives. Certainly, to be more patient, to be more loving, to be happy, There's so much sadness and so much meanness in the world around us. I'm embarrassed to be a human being when there is such callousness and cruelty that we inflict on each other. This is not what we're supposed to do, and this is not what we're supposed to be. If prayer were all, I'm sure we would have accomplished it a long time ago. And so now it's time to do something more, to do something different. You know the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, ashamnu, baganu, gazalnu, dibarnu, dofi. Keep doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. So I want to try a different thing and hope to bring about a different result. So that maybe next Yom Kippur, when we gather here, we will feel, yes, there really has been a change in my life this year. Yes, I have found some more answers to help me function in this world of dysfunction. Next Yom Kippur, wouldn't it be nice to sit here and to be able to share these prayers with a sense that, yeah, there's been accomplishment in these areas. We'll use this time, this coming year, as our opportunity to come face to face with a high-pressured moment, to see what we're made out of, to see what we can do, but most importantly, to see what we can become. Ken Yehi Ratzonenu. So may it be our will that this year we grapple with these values, with ideas, with text, so that we might become an even better human being. We move to the conclusion of our worship service this evening with the words of our Aleinu. The adoration can be found on page 116. Page 116. Reminder too, we will be collecting our food for the food drive all the way through Sukkot. So if you haven't brought in food yet, think about stopping by in the next couple of weeks and dropping off food. We have collected over 8,000 pounds, I think, over the last 10 years of food from our High Holiday Appeals, so thank you. Page 116, I invite us to rise as we are able. Continue on page 119. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved, each of us, for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. We continue on page 121. This holy night concludes with memory. Our last thoughts always are of those we have lost. We miss them, especially tonight, yearning for their presence at our side. The service we have shared once was theirs. They spoke and sang the ancient words. They prayed, repented, and yearned for better lives, as we have done. Flawed in their deeds, imperfect in their faith, they still drew strength from their tradition as we seek fortitude in ours. What was good and beautiful in their lives once gave us joy, and now inspires us to reach even higher. The knowledge that they loved us deeply brings comfort to our hearts. So we light candles of remembrance and gratitude. And we speak this timeless truth, Zichronam Livracha. Their memory is a blessing now and forever. We pray that their goodness will live on in our lives, planting seeds of kindness and hope for generations to come. The words to our Kaddish can be found on page 122. As we call to mind this Shabbat, those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim period, the 7 and 30 days since their death. Henry Casson, husband of Adrian Casson, Phyllis Alberts, aunt of Brad Kramer, and Francie Cohn Melnick Starr, the mother of Marcy Fry. To those names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week: Morton Leo Denwitt, Evelyn Loftschi, Jerry Treff, Edward Maltz, Richard Grossman, Linda Popovich, Helen Joyce Schwartz, Ralph Koizem, Celia Lowenstein, Joseph Wolf, Harry Falk, Carl Porter, Elizabeth Edelson, Saul Alterman, Fanny Friedman. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Deborah Middleton, Tom McLean, Michael Rocky, Irvin Nadler, Mark Geller, Leonard Bush, Carl Hess, Rosalind Ross, Dr. Alan Hirschbein, Marilyn Gelfand, Rod Moss, Marjorie Asness, Don Ripley, Sid Gelfand, Sammy Pakula, Scott Talento, Nimrod Goldman, Jean Crane, Richard Arlene, Herbert Miller, Lorraine Fox, Dr. Jack Gasser, Shachar Herzog Bar, Gloria Garavito, and Joanne Bailey. If there's a loved one that you are remembering, I invite you to share that name. To those that we have named aloud, and to those that we keep named in our quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, the members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, and members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. Zichronam Levracha. May their memories always be for a blessing as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemed Rabbah, b'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemed Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shemei dekudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'imru, amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, and above all, a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, amen. This evening we conclude our service with the words of Lechi Lach. You will find the words in your High Holiday program on the sheet for the Erev Yom Kippur service. On the back of that side, you will find the words to Lechi Lach, taken from Genesis, the charge given to Abraham and Sarah. Lech Lecha, set forth. It also can be translated as go into yourself, which is also what this Yom Kippur is all about, a time of going deeper, deeper into ourselves, so that we might become true to that inner person within us, true to our soul, true to all of the goodness that lies within us. Lechi Lach. I invite you to put your arms around the shoulder of someone next to you, or hold the hand of someone who needs to remain seated, so that we might share for ourselves strength, a path for our way. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Yontif.
Oh, you love it. I hope it. Both of us. All right, well, let's do it tomorrow.